the reason that the title is Afterlife. It's not that her husband Sam is going to come back from the dead, but I think of it as afterlife as really an accurate description of all our lives, that we have a life that is filled with many little deaths along the way. And things we have it all together, we've had it all figured out, and then boom, something happens, and that's life.
Once again, our school buildings will remain closed for the rest of the school year. Teaching and learning will continue for students. And we're going to ensure that a continuity of education for all students is in place.
People who are trafficked are most often very vulnerable people to start with. So young people, particularly homeless young people.
What is the difference between a hippo and a zippo? One of them is a little lighter. Nothing.
When I say Afrocentric literacy, I'm talking about using African fireside storytelling methods, African literature to promote peace and reconciliation through dance, drama, cultural awareness, and adult literacy.
My mom actually just gave me money for the movies if you want to go.
This is what you call a duck and dodge situation, where you duck the question. Oh my God, guess what just happened to me today?
What?
My friend just got hit by a bus.
Oh my God, is she okay?
And you dodge the conversation. But I'll hit you back because I gotta go walk my fish, okay?
Okay.
We have an inadequate safety net. We don't have universal health care in this country. We don't have paid sick leave. We don't have, we've made cuts to our food stamp programs. All of this is coming back to haunt us.
We've actually seen those things happen with the reclamation of our public schools and ending as, a 20-year state takeover and putting back a local school board under local control that restores nurses and counselors, brings back clean water, is fighting for modern school buildings right now. This is a path. And to me, SEPTA and public transit is one of the most essential things that we can do.
I thought you might also just share a little bit with them about the state and status of elephants in Tanzania now, because I know back at this time when we saw these elephants, which has been a few years back now, there was a lot of problems with how they were going to survive and so forth with the poaching.
When you look at the foundation of this country, it's based on indigenous genocide and African slavery. So from its very foundational core, there are key elements within our nation's hierarchy that have placed Asian Americans somewhere within this kind of hierarchy of race and racism.
They're right. We should be ashamed. I can give you some anecdotal stuff. I haven't done a sweeping study of it, but just for example, in Seattle and Washington State was where we had one of the first big outbreaks. They have had a functioning courtroom that can actually dispose of cases, that can allow the prosecution to drop cases, which I can't do now, even if I wanted to do that.
I decide on my primary textures and materials. I try different things out as I go. Sometimes it's nice to rip up and reconfigure materials, and sometimes I like keeping them as is. What am I feeling? My head is sometimes foggy. I feel sad sometimes and tired, but I also have wild pent-up energy from being at home.
One thing that's really helpful, which everyone else had mentioned as well, is really to share and help us spread the word about the initiatives that we're working on. And that's so valuable. I feel like a share is just as valuable as a donation.
There is a direct correlation between the amount of green space in a community and a reduction in violence, gun violence, specifically violent crime.
Philadelphia, we found in a sitting garden. We grow correct vegetables.
So by bringing these instruments here as a place to recognize change and as a place to actually see a problem before you, it then starts to turn the key that people start to realize, like, oh, there's something that really needs to be done here.
Can you run a university like a business?
A society that claims to value education cannot systematically exploit its educational class.
While colleges rely more and more on low-paid contingent faculty, college tuition has tripled and administrative salaries have quadrupled.
Right now I define myself mostly as a media artist. My preferred medium to work in are zines and stickers, but I'm also a performer. I do audio, I do some visual stuff, so kind of all over the place.
If she would just put her megaphone down and listen,
I could show her some things. I mean, I get it. I may not have the education or the clout or know all the cool celebrities, but I'm still here, living, breathing, and fighting for justice in this community.
I think a lot of kids are dying off the knockoff, like, weed cards.
Yeah, marijuana.
And then these kind of, since it's all vaping, it all gets roped in together, and, you know, there's big tobacco. They've been waiting for something to jump on.
The children love to be outside. They love to ride their bike. They like to go to the malls. They like to go to the playground. And now, since the COVID is out there, we can't go to the malls and all these places and go ride the bikes and stuff. So we have to find stuff to do inside, and it's really driving them crazy.